let's finish up the movement of the upper body. So we may be able to get away with the upper body not really moving at all as the character exits, but we can add more to this to get an even better result, which we want to strive to do. So let's go ahead and work on that. We can actually start with the hip. As the character goes into about frame 240, we'll even go into the graph editor to see what's happening here. Let's look at our translate keys and frame that. Okay, so we can have the hips start to really lead into the scene, and then we'll offset the back and the chest as well, so it looks as if the hips are leading. And then as the character comes back, you can have them on 247 maybe squash in. And then let's get rid of this key here on 248. So we don't get an abrupt pop. And then as the character exits again, we can maybe on 257 just straighten out the hips. Just zero them out. Okay. And then add a small adjustment to it. So on 257 again, we could just maybe stretch them out a little bit more. And then we could delete this key on 256 of the translate Y. Okay, great. So you have the hips almost kind of leading. And then from here, let's select the back and the chest control. And let's have this pose happen a little bit later on. So we can drop this, let's say 3 frames. Let's see how this looks on 243. Alright, so we have a little bit of offset here. See what that does? Great. And then going back to the chest, maybe as the character squashes in, maybe we can, let's see, possibly have the chest squash in a little bit more too on 247. Not much at all. And then as he starts to really run out of the scene, we can have him stretch a little bit, but not too much. We don't want him to lose his volume. Okay, and we can look at this through the shot camera to see if we like what we're getting. Hit play. Alright, great. And let's see what else we can add. We could definitely add some rotation to the chest. So as the character is swirling his arms, and we'll even open up our graph editor. Let's see what we can do here. Perhaps rotate the chest forward on about 239. We'll just go to our rotate tool and rotate our view axis. Okay, and then we get some nice follow through as we get to the pose on 243. And we can even see what would happen if we offset that a little bit more. We can take the rotation on 243, frame that, move in, and let's see what would happen if we just brought that just one more frame down. Alright, great. Then we could add a little bit of follow through to this on 252. Let's bring it up just a little bit more, again using our view axis. And then as he runs out quickly on 260, we can drop him some more. Excellent. So we can hit play to see how that looks. Great. And of course we don't want to leave the head out. The head might even bring this part of the animation home by adding some follow through to it. So let's take this key on 240 and let's see what would happen if we brought it down to, let's say, 244 even. And then on 240, let's rotate it forward a little bit more. Great. Then we have the chest moving up and then starting to move down. On 256, we can have the head move up a little bit more here. But not too much. Let's move it back a little bit more, because we may want to see if we can add a little mustache shake. And if the animation in the head is moving too much, it might be distracting when we see the mustache. By 260, we can go ahead and rotate the head back. Then I think we could take the pose on 246, middle click on about 253 and press Shift E. Okay, this is preparing to so that we can see the mustache shake. All right, great. So this is coming along well. Now, prior to the run, before we get to the mustache, prior to the run, we can have the upper body move just a little bit. Okay, because it is still going from 230 to 235. So let's just have it move just a very small amount on 235. So he's not still. Great. And now from here, what we basically want to do is see if we'll be able to have the mustache read. So we'll go to our shot camera, can select our mustache control, can hide our curves with it still selected. Okay, and either use the move tool, or if you go to the select tool, you could always use the channel box, whichever you prefer. But I'm gonna stick with the move tool. And let's look at a good time to add this. Maybe just before he exits. So on 243, we can press Shift W here for the mustache. Go to 245, move it to the character's right. 247, move it to the left. 249, move it a little bit to the right, not as much, and then to the left on 251. Let's see if how this looks. Hit play. All right, great. That might work out to be pretty nice. So let's say we go ahead with these adjustments made and do play blast to see if we like our results. Here's the play blast. Great. Okay, well, all right, now that we have all of these changes made, that pretty much brings us to the end of the animation. Okay, what we're going to do in the next lesson is basically finish up by looking for any areas that we may possibly want to tweak before we call this done. So in the next lesson, we will finish this animation.